What if I tell it to burn everything? She asked softly. The alien's silver eyes gleamed. Then fire will come, and nothing will survive. Her pulse pounded. She looked out over the crowd, civilians, soldiers, leaders, all trembling under her gaze. Their eyes begged her for mercy, yet none had shown any to the alien when he arrived in peace. She raised the cube higher. The ground split wider. Fire shot upward in jagged lines. The alien warship above tilted, cannons locking onto the lines of tanks and armored vehicles that surrounded the plaza. Soldiers panicked. One shouted, "General, we can't win this!" Another dropped his rifle and ran. Cortez aimed his pistol again with his uninjured hand, screaming, "Fire on her! Fire, damn you!" No one moved. Mara chuckled, her voice laced with dark amusement. "Funny thing, General. Men are brave until they realize the woman they mocked is holding the trigger." She lifted the cube higher. Golden fire arched into the sky, licking across the underbelly of the alien warship. The cannons charged fully now, glowing like newborn suns. The alien's voice carried across the plaza, heavy with finality. "You mocked peace. Now witness fire." The warship fired. A dozen beams of energy screamed down, not at the city, but at the military vehicles encircling the plaza. Tanks melted like butter. Gunships exploded in midair. The ground quaked under the shockwaves. Soldiers dropped to the pavement, covering their heads, their weapons useless. Cortez fell to his knees, horror twisting his face. "What have you done? What have you done?" Mara stepped closer, cube still blazing in her hand. She leaned down toward him, her smirk sharp as a knife. "I didn't do this, General. You did. You asked for war." She pressed the cube closer to his face. He flinched, sweat pouring down his brow. Then she whispered, her voice dripping with heat and Nom, tell me, do you still think I'm weak?" The cube pulsed, a wave of golden light rolling outward. Guns shattered, radios melted. Even Cortez's pistol crumbled to ash in his hand. The alien staggered, but his eyes never left Mara. "The fire is yours now, Captain. Lead it, or let it consume you." Mara straightened, cube blazing, hair whipping in the heated wind. She looked up at the warship, then out at the terrified world, watching through 1,000 cameras that had just flickered back to life. And for the first time, she felt not just like a soldier, but like something far greater, something dangerous. The alien's voice reached her one last time, low, intimate, almost seductive. "Decide, Mara Steele. Do you burn their world, or build it?" The cube flared again, brighter, hungrier, and the plaza waited in silence for her answer. The cube pulsed like a living heart in Mara's grip, every throb whispering promises of power. The air still burned with the aftershock of the warship's cannons. Tanks lay in molten pools, helicopters smoldered in the distance, and the once proud army that surrounded the plaza now cowered like frightened children. But not all eyes were filled with fear. From the crowd, a few broke away. Soldiers, scientists, even civilians. They didn't run. They stepped closer, slow, cautious, but unafraid. One young sergeant lowered his rifle, his voice trembling. "Captain Steele, you're not the enemy. You stopped them from firing on the city. We saw it." A scientist clutching a tablet nodded. "That cube. It didn't destroy everything. It only burned the weapons. You aimed it." Mara's gaze swept over them. Her smirk tugged at her lips again. "So, some of you actually noticed. Maybe there's hope for this planet after all." Cortez struggled to his feet, clutching his shattered hand. His face was twisted in rage. "You fools! She's possessed! That owl! Infreak is pulling her strings." "You wanted a show of strength?" she said, voice dripping with heat. "Well, here it is." The cube pulsed one last time, and the entire world watched as fire crowned her like a queen. The plaza was no longer a place of ceremony. It was a battlefield carved in light and smoke. The cube's fire wrapped Mara and those who chose her in golden armor, their eyes glowing faint silver, their bodies alive with strength they had never known. Every step they took cracked the ground beneath them. Cortez, broken and furious, screamed from the steps. "You think you've won? You've doomed us all. That thing will burn Earth to ash. Mara turned slowly, cube blazing in her palm. Her smirk was sharp, dangerous. Correction, General. You almost burned Earth to ash. I'm the reason this city is still standing. Cortez spat blood. You're drunk on its power. You can't control it. Mara's laugh was low, teasing. Oh, I can control it. The question is, can you handle a woman who actually knows how to use it? Gasps rippled through the soldiers. Even some of the civilians chuckled nervously. Cortez's rage twisted into humiliation. He lunged at her, fists swinging, desperate. But before he reached her, a golden shockwave blasted out of the cube. He was hurled back like a rag doll, slamming into the cracked marble steps. He lay there, broken, wheezing, beaten not by fists, but by the fire he mocked. The alien staggered closer, his body weak but his presence unshaken. It is done, he rasped. The cube knows its master. Mara turned, eyes blazing silver. Master, huh? I like the sound of that. The alien's cracked mask revealed the hint of a smile. And yet, power is not for one alone. Will you burn them all, or lead them? Above, the warship rumbled, cannons shifting. For a terrifying heartbeat, it seemed ready to unleash hellfire on the city. The crowd screamed, bracing for death. Bo! Mara raised the cube high. Golden beams shot upward, connecting with the ship. The cannons powered down. The thunder faded. The ship bent, bowed, its massive bulk lowering slightly in the sky like a predator kneeling to its queen. The world watched through every restored camera feed. News anchors stammered, soldiers whispered, civilians sobbed in relief and terror. Mara's voice rang out across the plaza, carried by the cube itself. Humanity had a choice. We mocked peace, and paid in fire. But the fire isn't here to kill us, not if we prove we're worth saving. The people who had stepped beside her raised their heads. Some dropped their rifles completely. Others fell to their knees, overwhelmed. The alien, swaying, leaned toward her. His words were for her ears alone. You stopped the fire. You made them see. Mara tilted her head, smirking faintly. Don't give me too much credit. I just hate watching stupid men screw up a perfectly good gift. His silver eyes glowed, softer now. Then perhaps you will teach them. Teach us all. The cube pulsed, settling into her palm like it had finally found its home. Mara breathed deeply, the golden glow dimming slightly, as if the weapon itself had calmed under her will. Cortez coughed, broken on the steps, still clinging to defiance. You'll regret this. You think they'll follow you? You think the world will bow? Mara walked toward him, slow, deliberate, every step cracking the ground beneath her boots. She crouched low, the cube inches from his face, its heat making his skin sweat and blister. Her smirk curled, voice low, intimate, almost playful. Bow? No. They'll choose. That's the difference between me and you, General. You ruled by fear. I'll rule by fire. The cube flared, not burning him, but etching a faint golden mark across his cheek, a permanent reminder of his mockery. She stood tall again, raising the cube fee, or all to see. Never mistake kindness for weakness, she said, her voice rolling like thunder. Because when kindness ends, fire begins. The warship above split the sky with light, no longer a cannon's glow, but a beacon. The world was watching. And Mara Steele, human soldier turned something far more, stood at its heart, fire crowning her like destiny. The alien collapsed to one knee, not in defeat, but in devotion. You are fireborn. Mara smirked, tossing her hair back, cube blazing in her hand. Damn right I am. The screen of light faded. The plaza lay scarred, broken, yet alive. Humanity had not been destroyed. Not yet. But everything had changed. The fire had chosen its queen. The air hung thick with smoke and tension, every breath heavy, every second slower than the last. The cube pulsed hotter in Mara's hands, its golden symbols running like liquid fire across its black surface. The humming sound wasn't just in her ears anymore. It was under her skin, in her blood. The alien's silver gaze never left her face, as though he already knew what her choice would be. Cortez didn't wait. He barked again. "Seize her! Now!" But none of the soldiers moved. Their rifles shook. Their eyes darted between the glowing cube, the massive warship above, and the lone female officer who looked more like a goddess holding judgment than a captain following orders. One soldier whispered, "General, if we move, that ship will burn us alive." Cortez snarled, spittle flying. "You cowards! That's a bluff! He's weak!" Mara tilted her head, lips curling just enough to cut him down with a smile. "Bluff? General, if that's a bluff, then why are your knees shaking?" Laughter broke the silence from somewhere in the crowd. Nervous, sharp. Even in chaos, a joke cuts deep. Cortez's face flushed red. The alien's body trembled, but his voice remained steady. They mocked peace. They begged for war. You, Captain. You stand between them and fire. The cube in her grip pulsed again, stronger, almost hungry. The alien's gaze softened. "Tell me, Mara Steele, do you still want peace?" Her lips parted, dry. "Depends. How much fire are we talking?" The alien almost smiled. Almost. Enough to erase mockery from memory. The cube flared. Suddenly a hologram burst out, huge and violent. Images of cities burning, oceans boiling, stars collapsing into void. The crowd screamed. "Stop this!" Cortez roared. "Stop this now!" But Mara only stared, breathing hard. The cube was showing her something more than destruction. In its shifting lights, she saw flashes of herself, taller, Stro, and Gare, radiant in armor not her own, the alien at her side. Planets bowing. Her thighs clenched. The power of the vision made her want. Things she didn't dare say out loud. Cortez didn't care about visions. He raised his pistol, aimed straight at the alien's head. "If no one else will end this freak, I will." The alien closed his eyes, almost welcoming it. The pistol cocked. And then Mara moved. Her rifle rose, quicker than thought. A single shot cracked. The crowd ducked. Cortez staggered back, gun flying from his hand. Smoke curled from Mara's barrel. The general fell, clutching his bleeding hand, screaming in fury. You dare! Shut up!" Mara snapped. "I just saved your life. Be grateful." Gasps rippled. Some soldiers lowered their weapons entirely now. Others looked at each other, confused, afraid. The cube pulsed brighter than ever before. It lifted itself slightly out of Mara's hands, hovering, golden tendrils curling around her fingers like they belonged there. She couldn't tell if she was holding it, or if it was holding her. The alien's cracked mask split further, silver blood dripping down. His voice came softer now, but every ear in the plaza heard it. "She has chosen." The warship above rumbled. The cannon light shifted, retracting, but dozens of smaller points of light appeared across its hull, not aimed at the city anymore, but locked on soldiers, tanks, snipers. Mara licked her lips, her voice low and teasing. "So, do I get to be your queen now, tall, dark, and dangerous?" The alien's eyes gleamed faintly. "You may call yourself whatever you desire, once the fire is done." The cube vibrated, building a low hum that shook glass in windows all around. People screamed. Some ran. Others dropped to their knees. And then, the cube went dark. Dead silent. No glow. No pulse. Cold. Mara froze. So did everyone else. The alien's eyes widened. For the first time, fear flickered in them. "No, not now," he whispered. The cube pulsed in Mara's grip, a slow throb, like a second heartbeat pressed against her palm. She stared at it, then at the sky. The alien ship's cannon glowed brighter, humming low, a predator's growl. The plaza was chaos, soldiers shouting, civilians pushing, leaders scrambling behind their guards. But Mara didn't move. She couldn't. The alien's eyes, silver and old, locked on hers, even beaten. Broken armor hanging loose. He was calm, too calm. It made her skin burn. "Captain," he whispered again. "Decide." Cortez barked orders, voice cracking with fury. "Take the cube! Take it from her!" Two soldiers lunged. Mara's body moved on its own, spinning, rifle rising. Click. One man froze. She hadn't fired. Not yet. But her eyes said it all. "Touch me, and I'll bury you." The cube pulsed harder, heat spreading into her wrist. She almost swore it was whispering, words she couldn't understand but wanted to, badly. "Captain Steele!" Cortez's voice hit her like a whip. "Stand down, damn you! That's an order!" Mara turned her head slow, lips curling in a half-smile that carried no respect. "Funny thing about orders, General. Sometimes they're just bad suggestions." Gasps. One soldier muttered, "She's gone rogue." The alien coughed, silver blood trailing from his mouth. He raised one trembling finger toward her. "You are different." The cube glowed, symbols swirling faster. Mara felt it in her stomach, in her thighs, in places she didn't want to admit. It was alive. It wanted her. The ship above rumbled. The cannon was almost ready. Shadows lengthened. Then the cube clicked. Every flag around the plaza snapped at once, as if caught by a sudden invisible wind. Lights flickered, phones died, cameras went black. The world's eye blinked shut. Only Mara still held fire in her hands. Cortez's face went pale. What the hell is that thing doing?" Mara tilted too, the cube, smiling faintly. "Maybe it likes me better than you." The alien's laugh was weak, broken, but real. "She listens." The plaza froze. Soldiers pointed guns. Civilians whispered. Reporters scrambled to get dead cameras working. And then, the cube spoke. Not in English. Not in words. It spoke in a voice of hunger and promise, of nights spent reaching for something forbidden, of heat under the skin. Mara's knees buckled. She swallowed hard, trying to hide the shiver that raced down her spine. Cortez pointed at her. "She's compromised. Take her down." But no one moved. No one dared. Because above them, the alien ship shifted again. The cannon was no longer aimed at the city. It was aimed at the soldiers themselves. The alien's silver eyes closed. "Choose, Captain." Mara looked at the cube, looked at the trembling soldiers, looked at the thousands of people who still didn't understand they were seconds away from burning. Her lips parted. A single word formed. "Fine." The cube pulsed like a lover's heart. The alien ship's cannon screamed. Cortez shouted. The plaza became a stage, and Mara Steele stood at the center, holding the script of the end of the world. He came in peace. He carried a gift that could change our world forever. But instead of thanks, he was mocked, laughed at, humiliated in front of the whole planet. And when they struck him down, they thought he was weak. They thought he would crawl away, but they forgot one simple truth. Kindness does not mean weakness. And when he returned, he did not come with peace. He came back with fire. Welcome, warriors of the stars, to Sarge's Tells. I'm your narrator tonight, the voice that will guide you through this tale of betrayal, fury, and human pride. So buckle up, grab your drink, and let's begin the story. The ship appeared without warning, a black blade cutting the blue New York sky. Silent, heavy, wrong. Phones rose, sirens wailed, flags along the UN plaza snapped and cracked like nervous fingers. He stepped down alone, tall, armored in black with gold edges that caught the morning light, carrying a small cube that glowed like a caged heart. His mask was smooth, unreadable, the kind of face you imagine in nightmares and in prayers. Soldiers lined the carpet. Cameras watched from every angle. The world held its breath. Captain Mara Steele stood near the front line, blue eyes sharp, ponytail tight, uniform tighter. She felt the crowd's heat on her neck. and felt every man beside her trying not to stare at her curves. She didn't mind. She used it. Power is power. The alien stopped at the first step. He looked at the flags, then at the faces. When he spoke, the voice came not from his mouth but from everywhere at once. I come with peace. The words rolled over the plaza like warm thunder. 1,000 shoulders eased. 1,000 hands stayed close to triggers. He lifted the cube with both hands. Symbols crawled across it like gold ants. Medicine, energy, water from air, food from light, a gift to your species. Mara felt a strange pulse, like the cube was counting her heartbeats. Sir, whispered the young lieutenant at her side, trying not to peek at her. He's actually offering us stuff? Shh, Mara said, lips curling. Let the tall, dark stranger speak. A knot of leaders stepped forward, suits stiff, medals shining. At their center stood General Cortez, square jaw, square mind. He cut his hand in the air. Humanity doesn't accept unknown devices, he said into the microphones. Not today. The alien tilted his head, almost curious. Then let me show you. The cube opened like a flower. A thin blue mist rose, and where it touched the broken concrete at the edge of the plaza, grass sprouted. Real green grass, fresh and wet, in seconds. People gasped. A cameraman swore. Mara bit her lip. Okay, she murmured. That's hot. Cortez didn't look impressed. He looked angry. Close it. Now. The alien's hands lowered. The flower folded. The grass kept growing, small blades pushing through dust like stubborn thoughts. Your world is tired, the alien said. I brought rest. A delegate laughed. Too loud. Another followed. Brittle laughter bouncing off glass. Is this a trick? Someone called. Are we children to you? The alien's mask turned toward the voice, then slowly back to the flags. He seemed to sigh without lungs. No tricks. A beginning. Mara felt the little hairs on her arm lift. There was no threat in him, not yet, only patience, and patience like his was a deeper kind of danger. Cortez stepped closer, chest out. You come uninvited. You land above our city. You expect us to kneel because you grew a lawn? He smiled for the cameras. It looked like teeth on a wolf that forgot the forest. Go home, alien. The plaza murmured. Some cheered, some booed. A reporter shoved a microphone toward Mara. Captain, is this a security risk? Cortez screamed, charging forward anyway. Mara didn't even move. The cube pulsed once, and a shockwave hurled him back like a rag doll, crashing into the steps of the UN. He groaned, broken and bleeding. The alien staggered, silver blood dripping, but his voice carried pride. It has chosen. Mara looked down at the cube, her body trembling under its heat. She whispered, only loud enough for him to hear. Chosen me for what? The alien's silver eyes gleamed. For war. Above them, the massive ship shifted again. But this time, it wasn't aiming its cannon down at the city. It was aligning with the sky, preparing to fire at something far beyond. The clouds swirled, lightning cracking across the heavens. Mara's breath caught. She felt the cube pulling her thoughts, tugging at her desires. Visions spilled in front of her eyes. Planets burning, yes, but also planets kneeling, armies surrendering, worlds calling her name. Her thighs pressed together unconsciously. She smirked despite the fear. Well, if I'm about to start a war, I'd at least like dinner first. The alien's laugh was soft, ragged, but real. After fire, we feast. The cube pulsed harder, brighter, its heat almost unbearable. Mara lifted it high, unable to stop herself. The crowd gasped, shielding their eyes as golden fire roared from it into the sky. And then, everything went black. The plaza silenced. The cube's light cut off. Mara staggered, falling to one knee. She gasped for breath, still clutching the cube tight. Around her, soldiers and civilians stared in stunned silence. The alien leaned forward, his broken body barely holding him up. His voice cracked, but every word was clear. This was only the beginning. And then the ground trembled. The cube began to hum again, deeper this time, like something ancient waking beneath the earth itself. Mara's eyes widened as cracks spread across the plaza floor, light spilling from them like molten rivers. The alien's ship roared overhead, its weapons glowing brighter than suns. And in that blinding, terrifying moment, Mara whispered one thought out loud. What the hell did I just unleash? The plaza cracked open beneath them, golden light spilling out like veins of fire running under the city. People screamed and scattered, some falling to their knees in panic, others frozen in awe. Above, the alien warship shifted, its dark belly glowing brighter, dozens of cannons humming like a storm about to break. Mara stood at the center of it all, cube pressed to her chest. The heat burned, but she didn't let go. Her body trembled, yet her smirk never wavered. She looked less like a soldier now, and more like a queen holding judgment. Cortez dragged himself up from the steps, his uniform torn, his face a mask of blood and fury. He pointed at her with his good hand. She's a traitor! She's one of them now! Mara tilted her head, eyes flashing in the cube's light. One of them? Her voice rolled like thunder. No, General, I'm what you made me. You mocked peace, you struck him down, and now you'll choke on the fire you begged for. Cortez roared, spittle flying. You dare turn against your own kind? Mara's smile turned wicked, hot, teasing. Depends. Does my kind include men who scream louder than they think? Because if so, I'll pass. The soldiers around Cortez shifted nervously. Some lowered their weapons. Others looked up at the warship, hands shaking on their triggers. The alien pushed himself to his feet, every movement a struggle, his silver blood dripping onto the glowing cracks below. Yet his voice was calm. Captain Steele, the cube has answered. It knows your strength. Now, give it direction. Mara's lips parted. She felt it, the cube pulling at her mind, feeding her visions. Cities burning, enemies kneeling, galaxies whispering her name. It made her shiver, her breath sharp, her body alive with something more than power. Cortez, still clutching his bloody hand, saw his chance. It's over, he bellowed. He's nothing without his toy. Take them both. Soldiers hesitated, just for a breath. Then one lunged, another followed. Mara spun, rifle up, heart hammering, but the cube stayed dead in her hand. No glow, no hum. The alien struggled to his feet, armor shattered, silver blood painting his chest. He leaned toward her, whispering words only she could hear. It's not broken. It's waiting. Her eyes narrowed. Waiting for what? The alien's gaze burned straight into her soul. For you to ask it the right question. The plaza exploded in movement, soldiers rushing, civilians screaming, leaders shoving bodyguards aside. The warship above hummed louder again, as though sensing its master's peril. And Mara Steele, cube clutched tight, realized the next words out of her mouth might decide if Earth burned or survived. The cube felt heavy now, heavier than steel, yet it was no bigger than her palm. Mara's grip tightened as soldiers surged toward her, boots pounding the plaza. She raised her rifle with one hand, cube in the other, her heart pounding like war drums. The alien swayed, his body broken, but his voice still sharp. Do not let them touch it. Only you can hold it. Mara shot a glare over her shoulder, lips curling. Figures. Every man wants me to hold his secret weapon. The alien almost smiled, even as blood ran down his jaw. Only mine bites back. Two soldiers closed in, their rifles leveled. Mara fired once into the ground between them. Sparks spat up. They froze. You sure you want to test me? She asked, voice low, teasing. Because I promise, I shoot straighter than I kiss. Nervous laughter broke from the crowd. The soldiers hesitated, sweat rolling down their foreheads. Cortez's voice ripped through the chaos, raw and furious. She's under alien control. Take her down, or I'll have you court-martialed. But even his men weren't so sure anymore. Too many had seen the ship's cannon shift, seen the cube hum like a living heart. Too many had felt the air itself thicken when Mara touched it. The cube flickered once, like a heartbeat restarting. Mara gasped. Warmth surged up her arm, crawling across her chest. She felt it, almost like invisible fingers tracing her skin. She bit her lip, refusing to let a sound escape. "Captain," the alien rasped. "It is testing you." Her head snapped toward him. "Testing me? How?" His eyes glowed faintly silver through the cracks of his mask. "It wants to know if you are strong enough to ask." "Ask what?" she whispered. "Ask it. Who deserves fire?" Before she could answer, Cortez stormed forward, one hand bleeding, the other clutching a stolen rifle. His face was twisted with hate. "You're finished, Steele. You and your alien boyfriend both." Mara's smirk was sharp, wicked. "Oh, jealous, General? Don't worry. I'd never go for a man who needs to scream just to feel tall." His face went crimson. He raised the rifle. Soldiers tensed. Civilians screamed. And then the cube exploded with light. Golden tendrils shot out, wrapping around Mara's wrist, coiling up her arm like fire-made flesh. Her whole body lit in a golden outline, her hair whipping as if caught in a storm. Her eyes glowed the same silver as the aliens. Gasps, shouts. Some soldiers fell back in terror. Cortez froze mid-trigger pull. His finger trembled, but he didn't fire. Mara turned slowly, her voice deeper, heavier, layered with something not entirely human. "Stand down." The cube's light spilled outward, sweeping across the plaza. Guns shorted out, radios died, tanks groaned and went still. Every weapon in reach turned useless. "Everything breathing is a security risk," she said, eyes on the alien. "Even men who think they're in charge." The alien raised the cube again, slowly, carefully. "I brought cures for your cancers," he said. "A drink for your desserts. Knowledge to unchain your children from hunger." Mara felt something twist inside her. She had lost a brother to a slow, cruel sickness. The thought of curing that, of stealing pain from the world, made her throat tight. Cortez waved his hand. A circle of soldiers moved. "Seize the device," he snapped. "We'll study it ourselves." The alien didn't step back. He didn't raise a hand. "Please," he said softly. "I am not your enemy." The first soldier reached for the cube. The glove brushed the glowing edge. A flash flared. The soldier shouted and fell, not burned, just stunned, as if his nervous system took a quick vacation. Gasps, shouts, guns rose. "Stand down!" Mara called, but her voice vanished under the heavy sound of bolts and safeties. Cortez pointed. "Take him!" They surged. The alien's shoulders sank, not in fear, in sorrow. The cube folded shut. He set it on the carpet like a parent setting down a sleeping child. He did not fight. They hit him anyway. Battens cracked. Knees drove. The alien staggered. Armor took the blows, then broke. Black shards fell like dead leaves. He dropped to one knee, hands open. Someone kicked his side. Another shouted a slur. The crowd began to jeer, the way crowds always do when they smell permission. Mara didn't move. She watched, jaw tight, fingers crushing the strap of her rifle. She had seen monsters across the world, men and machines, and this was not one of them. This was something different. Mercy in a battlefield. She stepped forward, but Cortez's hand snapped out. "Captain, hold. That's an order." Her eyes cut to him. "Sir, this is wrong." "Wrong?" He leaned close. Hot breath. Cold smile. "You like tall strangers bringing gifts? You want to thank him? Privately?" Mara's stare didn't blink. "If I wanted to be impressed, General, I'd watch you parallel park." He stiffened. "Back in line." She slid one heel back, but her body remained like an arrow pointed at the alien. The beatings slowed. The alien lifted his head. Through the cracked mask, Mara finally saw his eyes. Silver. Old. Tired. Not the eyes of a predator. He spoke, voice smaller now, but clear. I offered peace. Cortez nodded to a sniper on the balcony. End it. The sun blinked off a scope. Time stretched thin. Mara's heart threw itself against her ribs. Her mouth opened. Don't. The shot split the air. The alien fell. That long body folding like a black flag cut from its pole. The cube rolled, tapped her boot, and stopped. Silence. Then chaos. Some people cheered. Others screamed. News choppers swarmed. The world watched. Replay after replay. The moment mercy met pride and lost. Mara knelt, fingers trembling, reaching for the cube. It was warm, alive, whispering in a language her bones almost understood. A symbol flared, like an eye opening. Above them, the dark ship rotated, slow, thoughtful, like a predator deciding if it was hungry. Mara looked up, breath catching. The ship's belly split, light building inside a long, cold mouth. The alien's hand twitched. His voice, barely a thread, touched only her ear. Captain, your kind, must choose. The light in the sky grew brighter. Brighter, shadows pulling long like knives across the plaza. Mara stood, cube in her hands, eyes on the ship, on the glowing cannons staring down at a city full of people. And somewhere under the broken mask, the alien smiled. But the people stepping forward shook their heads. One soldier spat at the ground near Cortez. Maybe you're the freak, General. You mocked peace. You ordered the first shot. You started this. The cube pulsed as if approving, golden tendrils licking across Mara's arms. Her eyes glowed faintly silver, matching the alien's. She turned, her gaze finding him. He stood barely upright, blood still dripping, armor in pieces, but his stare was steady. You see now, he rasped. Not all mocked, not all spat on peace. Mara tilted her head, lips curling in a half-smile. You're telling me I have a fan club? The alien's cracked mask revealed just enough of his mouth to almost show a smile. Some worship fire, some follow it. She chuckled low in her throat. I've been called hot before, but this is ridiculous. A ripple of nervous laughter passed through the humans gathering at her side. Even in fear, her flirty tone hit something primal. Humor as a shield, as a weapon. The cube pulsed again, brighter, its symbols shifting faster. Mara gasped softly at the heat coursing up her arm, down her body. She clenched her thighs without meaning to, hiding it behind her steady stance. She could feel it testing her limits, pushing her to claim more. She turned back to the humans who had stepped forward. Her voice rang clear across the plaza. You saw it yourselves. This thing isn't just a weapon, it's a choice. The ones who mocked him, they wanted war. The ones who struck him, they wanted to show power. But what about the rest of you? What do you want? Silence fell. Then the sergeant spoke again, louder this time. We want to stand with you. With him. If he came offering peace, then maybe it's not too late to take it. The alien's silver gaze burned with something fierce, something hopeful. His body trembled, but he stood taller. They can still learn. Mara raised a brow. Kate, Riffle, you almost sound like you believe in us. He leaned toward her, voice low, intimate. I believe in you. Her chest tightened, heat rising in her cheeks. She covered it with a sly grin. Careful, tall, dark, and dangerous. You're making me blush in front of the troops. Behind them, Cortez screamed, his voice raw. Traitors, all of you. You'll doom us all siding with him. He tried to raise his pistol again, but the melted metal slipped through his fingers, clattering uselessly to the ground. The alien ship rumbled overhead, shadows stretching across the plaza like the hands of gods. Its cannons pulsed, but did not fire. They waited, watching. Mara looked at the small group at her side, then back at the broken alien who had still not fallen. Her smirk faded, replaced with something sharper. Resolve. She raised the cube high. Then hear me. If the rest of the world won't stand for peace, then we will. We'll fight not against humanity, but against the arrogance that almost destroyed it. The cube roared in her grip, golden fire spilling outward, wrapping around her and those who stood with her. Armor shimmered into existence on their bodies, glowing plates forming from pure light. Gasps echoed as soldiers found themselves shielded in fire, their fear replaced with awe. The alien staggered forward, his silver eyes blazing. Together, we rise. Mara met his gaze, smirking again despite the fire burning around her. Rise, huh? Just don't expect me to kneel first. His chuckle was low, dark, and strangely human. The cube flared again, its power now divided among those who had chosen to stand beside her. The earth trembled harder, the plaza splitting wider. Far above, the alien ship shifted into battle formation. And for the first time, it wasn't just alien fire threatening Earth. It was human fire, born in golden light, standing shoulder to shoulder with some thing greater. Mara Steele, cube blazing in her grip, turned toward the cameras that had flickered back to life. Her smirk curled, her eyes gleaming silver.